Welcome everybody. I am Leonard French, your favorite overhead view copyright attorney.
And I am Kurt Mueller, Blackleaf, your favorite patent attorney.
I mean, I guess we could have probably used this view and just like shifted it back and forth, but that would probably look kind of weird, so I thought this would look like less weird. But now like you're up there, so
I'm grooving, baby. I'm grooving.
It is what it is.
No, that's good stuff.
I mean, we could move it if we had to.
Yeah, it's tough.
Why are you up there? So that you can see what's going on. We have a secondary goal we're working on tonight. Blackleaf has visited our local brewery.
Yes.
We have this wonderful brewery named Shangy's.
Yes.
Who this is a canned like tap beer. Like they just poured this out of the tap into this can
so
and
they
then
can
sealed it.
They can it on the fly.
So
they have their own canning equipment.
He got like 6 little 8-ounce cans of 6 different beers.
Yes. Now, what makes this interesting is they had 40 beers on tap.
40.
40. And so, what was I going to do? Well, what I did is literally ask Google to give me 6 random numbers between 1 and 40. I have no idea what these beers are. I just asked for them by number. So we're going to, during this stream, I'm going to open them and drink them and review them while we're doing comment review. Because Uncle Blackleaf is here, and that's how Uncle Blackleaf rolls.
Nice.
And Leonard has advised me that I should tell you to drink responsibly. As for myself, I'm a lawyer.
Yes.
This is how I interpret responsibly.
All right. Let's let this play out for a second while everyone rolls in here. Richard Smith, Scorcher, 646, Rob Deltoni, mathematics student, grass collector, Zendel Darkman, Beanbag, and Haxed Lint.
Yes.
And Elf Drow.
Hello, Lint. Good to see you as always.
Jimmy and Frederick Beauvais, or Beauvais.
Beauvais, ooh, yes.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Yes.
How are you? Camera on. Yeah, so that's just going to be how it works tonight.
Well, you know, that's what everyone wants to see, man.
Oh, well. So I'm going to start with, well, what do I already have a Bell's double cream, special double cream stout open.
So we'll just pick one at random. This is number 28, Funk Double Disco.
So if you go to Shangy's Brewery right now and order number 28, you're going to get the same thing.
Yes.
That Kurt is
very excited about.
Actually, you're only going to get it for the next 40 minutes because I think they're only open till 8 o'clock on Saturday nights. So let's see here. I don't know exactly what the proper filter is going to be for tonight. We did not plan tonight's comment review like the last few comment reviews have been planned. If you can't tell,
Leonard,
I hope that's okay.
Leonard
with
over
you.
here is all professional and wants everything to be planned out, organized.
Yes, as you can tell from the backdrop of my studio.
And I told him that none of those things were necessary.
And organized and clean.
I told him we were going to do everything on the fly. We're going to do it live, Bill O'Reilly style. It's all going to work out. I don't have any like drugs or guns or sex toys or anything like visible and seen here, do I? Okay, good. Other than myself, no.
Have I tried the limited edition Timefall Porter? No. What's the Timefall Porter?
Yes.
I am currently playing that game, and I'm loving it. I am seriously impressed with, I think it's Hideo? I heard what's his face call him Hideo, not Hideo. So is it Hideo Kojima?
Sure.
So Death Stranding is just an absolutely amazing game. It is not like any other game you've ever played, so you better look it up, like what it's all about, before you just go buy it. Kurt is my love drug. Yeah, there we go. No, I'm just kidding. No, Kurt is my friend and colleague. Where do I get my 18650 batteries? There's a non sequitur for you.
Where is it?
Usually recycle my 18650s, and everyone who knows me, my parents, my colleagues, and everybody, if a battery dies, they just hand it to me. They're like, here, take it apart. So I get a lot of batteries from people who give them to me, my parents included. You know, tool batteries die. Sometimes it's only one cell has died, and the other 5 are still good, and they're high capacity, high draw cells. So that's one thing. You got to find old, genuine stock, like old stock, but new unsold battery packs for laptops are often pretty good source of that too. Other than that, I believe there's a couple websites out there that have really good prices on them, and I got mine for like $2.50 a piece for my latest project.
Excellent.
So there you go. Comment review done, guys. All right.
Yes.
No. So we don't know exactly what filter system we're going to use here.
No.
I've just selected subscriber count over 10,000. Hey, and maybe I should crop my. Actually, what are we doing here? We're not going to use this view. Let's not use this view. Let's get this out of here, and let's put up the webcam view, because you'll see why if he stays here. Logitech 2? Is it Logitech 2? Hey, it's Logitech 2. Look at that. Come on. You got to come back into frame here, though. There you go. Good boy. Go boys. This is why we're back here. So this will be webcam view. There we go. Would you like a treat?
Yeah.
You notice we haven't talked about a single comment yet.
No, it's fine. You know, because, you know.
Oh, yeah. How do I turn on the dark theme?
As we know from Uncle Blackleaf streams,
I don't have a dark theme.
They're rambling and raving, and we only occasionally get to the topic at hand because, you know, whatever. We have fun over my streams. So this is totally cool. We kind of talk about, all good, kind of good stuff.
Yeah, cordless drills and old laptop batteries for 18650s.
Yes.
Those are good. And no dark theme. Yeah, I know. The comments on the YouTube Studio don't have a dark theme, as far as I know. I don't have a way of getting a dark theme going on there. So let's just start going backwards, I guess. Now, how do we know whether we're going to read a comment or not? I don't know, because normally the way we do this is we would we would have somebody select the comments ahead of time, like a Joe Tyson or a Brandon would select the comments ahead of time.
Here's what I would suggest. Just read it, and if you think it's worthy for us commenting on, then read it out loud, and if not, go to the next one.
Okay, but then what about my genuine reaction? I get to read it first. I'll be primed.
Yes, you might have a chuckle or something. That's fine. But then I'll have a genuine reaction once it's read.
You know what? Why don't we just start? Because I think it's going to take longer if we just don't read them.
Yeah.
If I just simply don't read them, then I probably take a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. So Snow Crash on the RIAA censors Google with DMCA. You know you got your acronyms going there. Snow Crash says it needs to be pointed out that this takedown only affects the listing of those sites on the Google search engine. Yes, in case that was not clear from the actual video, because occasionally we miss things. I mean, it's not that we missed that part. It's more like we missed like telling you about it, which is kind of important. I get it. But yeah, it's the listing of the Google search engine. If you type those domain names into your URL or your browser, you will still go to those YouTube converters and you can still use them, as far as I know.
Yes.
Let's see. Bunny Boots Inc. says this is why it's better to use DuckDuckGo. Yes, I believe there's a way to use Google incognito or whatever, but Google in the background is trying to tie data together to figure out like who you are, and probably just assumes that, since I'm the only person who lives in my household, any activity from my IP address is just me. Yeah. I'm sure it assumes that. So yeah, use a different search engine. Let's see. Snow Crash again. This is going to happen with the subscriber count if we do the subscriber count filter. The other thing we could do, do we have a filter based on a number of upvotes?
Well, I know for each individual video.
Status? No, haven't responded.
If you go to each individual video, you can sort by
okay, how about we do that? How about we'll go to each individual video.
Yeah, and sort by count that way.
Great. Now everybody can see my private dashboard.
Oh, so exciting.
All right, so we're going to do comments here, and then comments here, and then comments here. Hang on. And then comments here, and then comments here, and comments here. And where are we? What day is it today? The 16th? So the 9th counts. We'll do Leibowitz. That counts. And we also have 2 live streams.
Yes. Leonard's amount of monetization and my amount of monetization have distinctly different profiles. I'd just like to take note.
We'll do just the one Leibowitz video. We'll do both of them. How about that? We'll do the before one after, I think. Or the after one. Before one before. All right. Let's start with today's video, and let's go to top
Instead of newest first in the top right. Yeah, top comments. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, top comments. So I have to clear comments I responded to.
There you go.
So here we go. Top comments. Jared Powlin says, this was a very interesting discussion. I appreciate the deep dive, and we'll have to digest the info and rewatch. However, I am being slowly pushed over by the dog, by the way.
Excellent.
In case you haven't noticed that, like, I am being slowly moving over.
Yes.
Because the dog keeps moving over. He's leaning against me. I feel that you completely disregarded corruption and bribery. We see donors literally telling politicians, make this happen or I won't pay you.
Oh, yes. They're chastising me. That's fine. No, I'm not expressing, I don't expect to put out an opinion saying Citizens United is the greatest thing ever. And I have problems with you if you disagree, and not expect to get some pushback. So, that's enough. Totally fine to get some pushback and people disagreeing. And it depends a little bit on what you view as bribery or not. And this goes into the discussion that Tactical and I were having about basically what causes what. Is it money that causes politicians to have views, or is it views that causes money to come in? And my perspective is it's the views of the politician causes the money to come in. If you or I individually were looking, to support a candidate because they're what?
Give me your beer for a second. Just keep talking. Keep talking. Give me your beer.
Okay. Yeah. If you or I were looking for a candidate to support, we have people running in our neighborhood for various things, school board, whatever. You or I would make individual donation decisions based on why we like their views, if we agree with them or not. And so my view is that, if the NRA could buy Nancy Pelosi's vote on gun rights issues, they obviously would. So that obviously is not happening. So I don't think it's that views are for sale. I think it's the NRA and ACLU and Human Rights Watch and name your organization of choice are looking to fund candidates that already support their views. Not for the least of reasons that those organizations want those people to be reliable votes when the moment of truth comes. So if they're not already on board with their views, they wouldn't put money behind them because they don't want them to flake when they actually come to the voting.
Okay.
So what?
30 seconds per comment, man.
No?
I'm just letting you know. Okay, so Sam says, I work on this issue professionally. I'm trying to amend the Constitution using the Article 5 convention process to restore free and fair elections. Citizen United is a rallying cry, but although it's important, Buckley and Bellotti, 2 separate cases, are more important. Many who agree with me on the need for the amendment think Citizens United was rightly decided, but erred in either its law or at least how it's applied in cases like American Tradition Partnership v. Bullock. I don't know those. Yeah. I don't know Bellotti and I don't know Bullock. So those are 2 things to look up. Any thoughts?
No, I'm going to hook up with him and we'll have a live stream on that on my channel later.
AD says, I get your point, I do, but I think by limiting money, they are trying to stop rich oligarchs literally overshouting the little guy with their free speech money, because they can swamp the airwaves and the best times if they are a billionaire and drown out the little guy not sponsored by a corporation.
Yeah, my view was that was kind of happen anyway in any case, especially because the old law exempted media organizations.
United.
Yeah. It was the big guy always had the assets to be able to figure out a way to broadcast their view. So
we can pause for a moment. It's an old mic stand. You're gonna have to wrench it to get it to.
There we go.
Okay, good.
Excellent.
It's a Radio Shack mic stand. Yours truly used to work for Radio Shack back in the day before they went bankrupt. Mm-hmm. In fact, I was the reason Radio Shack went bankrupt.
There you go.
No, I'm just kidding. I probably did have a hand in it, though. Jan Negrey supports Wolfpack but agrees that Citizens United is misunderstood. And let's move on. We'll go to another video. Moving on to the RIAA censors. Let's sort by top comments. We're not going to do this way every time, but this is how we're doing it since Blackleaf is here. Kenabi says, I find it amusing that legally we can't make archival backups if we have a physical copy of the movie, but we can't, or excuse me, we can make archival backups if we have a physical copy of the movie, but we can't legally defeat the DRM to make that backup. Darkly amusing. I believe you are half right. I understand the sort of tongue-in-cheekness of the comment, but if I remember correctly, you are allowed. There is an exemption for making an archival copy of your own stuff. Now, does the archival copy need to break the DRM? I don't know. If you do a bit-for-bit copy of a DVD, wouldn't that also copy, the encrypted media in 100% form, bit for bit, and then it would play back? So, yeah, I get that. Obviously, there's more to DRM than just a bit for bit copy. I get that. But, yes, it is a weird operation of law that you could be allowed to make a backup copy, but that the backup copy might not be legal because it also has to break DRM in order to be a valid backup copy.
Yeah, it's a problem
in order to be replayable.
It's basically a problem with DRM in general, is that you can legally do things, but they put things behind the DRM to prevent you from functionally doing things.
So I've been arguing that the technological protection measure law should only protect when it is an effective protection measure for a copyrighted work, for access to a copyrighted work, as opposed to just digital rights management for access to anything, copyright or not. But that's an argument for another time. Anson Mansfield asks 2 questions with a wall of text. Let's just go over the 2 questions. What gives the RIAA standing to go after someone for circumventing YouTube's DRM? Well, the RIAA is a representative organization, and there is law that says representative organizations can stand in for their members. So a doctor could sue on behalf of their patients. Consumer Reports could sue on behalf of its consumer members.
It's even simpler than that. The RIAA has assignment rights from their members, so they've given them the right directly.
And then let's go into that RIAA actually has the right to sue because they have been assigned said right by the musicians and artists.
Yeah, like RIAA in some cases owns this copyright because when they signed up with RIAA by signing up with a music producer, they own the copyright. So it's just them enforcing their own copyright in some cases.
They either own the copyright or they at least own the license and can enforce their copyrights. Why is the DMCA notification procedure applicable to a violation of 17 USC? Well, the DMCA notification procedure is capturing due process. So due process is a Fifth Amendment, is a constitutional requirement, a notice and an opportunity to respond. DMCA notices are part of due process notice requirements. Yeah. It's not that the DMCA was written to provide some new notice requirement. The DMCA was written in a format which needs to comply with due process, or else the DMCA would be invalid on that part.
Yeah, basically. The short answer is because Congress wrote it that way.
And this next question or next comment, Rob Adler says Streisand effect intensifies. Of course, if you're familiar with that, that's funny. If you're not familiar with that, Barbara Streisand is a musician / singer. Is she an actress?
I'm sure she's been in something.
Okay, so she's probably been in something, but she is a singer. And she had a Malibu beach house. We often talk about Malibu in this because all of my cases, or half of my cases, are against a company named Malibu Media. And they're I don't know if they're actually in Malibu, though. But Barbara Streisand had a Malibu beach house that she did not want photographed. And unfortunately, you do not have the right to not have aerial photographs taken of your house by a properly licensed and flying plane with a photographer and all that. And, you know, even if they're doing something wrong, like that's between them and the FAA, that's not really between Barbara Streisand and the photographer. Well, she sued to get the photograph taken down, which of course only made the photograph more popular and also coined the phrase for all time, the Streisand effect. Calling more attention to something by trying to have it hidden is called the Streisand effect.
Yes. So,
Kaiten Satsuma question, this sounds exactly like that Comcast takedown. The RIAA can't prove that the video rippers are being used to convert, just argue that they could be. Isn't that too broad to be upheld? It's the equivalent of the BitTorrent troll. You are right. Actually, here I didn't bring it up. Here's the question. You are right. This is a very, very good question. This points out the difference between the black letter law and the operation of law. Yes, it's probably an invalid takedown for the RIAA to take down these video ripping services. However, it's now up to the video ripping services to respond with a counter notice or a lawsuit.
yeah.
And then the lawsuit or the counter notice will then be the next step towards establishing whether they were actually converting, whether they were actually breaking YouTube's encryption cipher or whatever. Remember, they mentioned a rolling code cipher.
Yeah.
So, Paul Saint Marie, I think that's how you pronounce the STE part. Thank you very much for the $50. I'm so glad Ilse is free. Here's some funds to help with the fence. Really, really appreciate that, the sentiment. I was wondering if anybody really listened to the podcast and knew what was going on there. But yeah, Ilse, we broke through. No, I don't want to use that language with the fence. We overcame the challenge that was presented to us, and Ilse is safe, and of course the other dog has fully recovered, and everything's been paid for there too. Believe it or not, the insurance company, my parents' insurance company, paid for the actual surgery or stitches. It was just stitches. It wasn't surgery, but or at least that's what I was reported to me. I'm just a witness, and I'm not even a witness in all of this. I'm just the owner who gets to have everything reported to him. Big C Burger gives $5. Thank you very much for your donation as well. Let's keep going on this one. I know a number, says Dan Carlin. I know a number of independent musicians whom the RIAA have issued multiple takedown notices on their personal original works across multiple platforms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, and I really don't mean to be harsh. That's harsh. What they're doing is harsh, and what you need to do is be harsh back. You need to file a lawsuit or something. So you need to talk to a lawyer and file something. Feel free to talk to me. I mean, I don't want to invite the entire world to try and hire me because I actually can't represent the entire world.
It's completely ridiculous that the movie or music industry or anyone else can just put a copyright on a completely original work and get no penalty for that. You know, because they didn't do their
copyright claim,
copyright claim, because they didn't do their due diligence on whether or not they really owned it, whether or not it was the same thing. They're relying presumably on an algorithm, and it's like, how frustrating is that to get a takedown notice on your own stuff? And it's happened to fairly notable musicians, you know, at times too. So of course it's happening to the little guy. The whole thing's absurd.
It is. Meanwhile, I am going to start on my number 9, Three Floyds Moloko, Moloko. It looks like this.
And I will be doing number 10, Flying Dog, The Fear. Very exciting.
I'm getting good with that focus. I can do follow focus next. Let's not use the Pokemon coin to open up the beer, but let's show the Pokemon coin. We got our Pokemon coin with
wow, that's different.
Pokemon Sword and Shield. I have never played Pokemon until yesterday, so that's a new one for me. I now understand where a lot of the fight mechanics come from, like in other games, because if Pokemon's was like the original, I can see that. Where am I going to open my beer with? I don't have any fingernails. That hurts. There we go. It's a milk stout. It's awesome. Gotta drink them all. All right. Next. Shoter Adrendian. If this is enforced, say goodbye to videos made by people who are dead because you can't archive them with an ease and dead can't re-upload.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, to some point, yeah. Like, especially people who are trying to comply with the law will just automatically assume they're not allowed to do certain things, like archive DRM'd works.
Yeah,
in a DRM-free fashion.
One of the problems with the copyright term being so long and the rest of it is that, works can go completely out of consciousness because the person's so greedy for holding on whatever residual value that, works become completely forgotten. If I had my druthers, the copyright term would be significantly shorter than it is, but not so much so.
Ropers Online says you lost access to those YouTube converters because it really is copyright infringement, quoting me. And he or she says, no, it's not fundamentally. It may be that in some cases to be determined on a case-by-case basis, but that's very different. Excuse me. And that's very true. The YouTube converters do definitely have uses that are perfectly legit. And it should probably be up to a judge or jury, which I hate the prospect of that because really we're going to talk about bringing YouTubers to it before a judge. But who wants to do that?
But can't we just cite the Sony VHS cases and basically say that the tool has non-infringing uses, therefore the tool is legal and call it a day?
I think the tool is legal, but the tool's going to have to defend itself in order to.
Well, this is what happened.
Establish that.
This is what happened in the Sony VHS case. At the U.S. Supreme Court, which was fairly narrow. Right. It was like 5-4-6.
That's the case that established that home recording was legal.
So, among other things, the court said that and noted that the thing could be used for illegal purposes, but it can be used for legal purposes. And so, because it can be used for legal purposes, the tool itself is lawful. So, to my mind, I think that case is right on point. It's like this converter can be used for lawful purposes and unlawful purposes. So, the tool is morally neutral. So, it's on the user, not the tool. So, I'd cite the Sony case.
I bet you if I get a treat out, he'll jump right up on my lap.
Yeah, substantial non-infringing use. Thank you, Don Pell. That is the magic language. Substantial non-infringing use. That is exactly correct.
Now he'll jump up on my lap. Look at this. Now, instantly jump up on my lap. All right, next. Oh, I didn't prepare one for the next. Hang on. Let's go on to the next video. That would be the incoherent appeal. And I will clear that. The best part of the video was Leonard's maniacal cackling. Yeah, I really liked this one. I really appreciated how terrible this appeal was. Especially when they got to the part where it was like somebody got shot and we don't like, people of color and all that. I mean, I'm not. So actual racism is deplorable, and I'm not laughing at that. Let me be clear about that. The bald-faced accusation with nothing backing it up is what I was cackling at, among other things.
Yeah, I also covered
hiccup in the middle of a stream. Reconnection successful.
Yay, victory.
I'd like to see it to believe it. Hang on. I can't. Hang on.
Wait.
I don't know how to see it actually.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. We are back.
Yay.
We live. Hey, there we go. And we're focused, and there we go. All right, so Uriel wants to know whether, thank you for the $5. Uriel wants to know what I think of Death Stranding. I absolutely love it. It is, I love unique experiences. The Death Stranding game style, gameplay, and all that is just so different from what other games are that I was willing to give it a significant chance, even though Jim Sterling told me that it was a boring game. And it is a bit of a walking simulator. It's more like, to me, it's more like a survival game that has sort of that social element to it. It's got a little bit of a horror thriller element to it. Open world element to it. It feels like a Hideo Kojima game. But it's different than anything I've really ever played. Like the fact that you don't have a weapon for the first 2 episodes of the game, the first like 10 hours of the game. Like you don't have like an offensive weapon. You have kind of a defensive weapon for BTs, but that's about it. Anyway, I really like Spin Tire's Mud Runner. I find it very relaxing, and I find this to be the best comparison. It's a lot like Spin Tire's Mud Runner, where you just drive cargo from place to place. In that game, it's logs in a Russian wilderness kind of scenario, and like lots of mud and all this. And in Death Stranding, it's terrain, and then you've got the added obstacles of BTs and the mules.
I just finished Far Cry 4. It was a lot of fun.
Desync? Are we desynced? Oh, well, I can't help you with the desync problem. Sorry. We'll just have to do the best we can.
Yep.
All right. So back over to the incoherent appeal. Your Yuzral says, this is the polite version of I award you no points and may God have mercy on your soul. From what, Billy? That was Billy Madison?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the polite version. It's like order to show cause. It's like, man, I felt that.
Yeah, an order to show cause is like, you've done it now.
Yeah, it's like bad things are now happening.
Judges don't.
My recommendation is fall prostrate before the court and hope for the best.
If there's a correctable mistake, chambers will call you first. Like sometimes you don't even get an order to show cause, is what I'm saying.
Yes. So I just finished Far Cry 4. I never played it like originally. It was in my Steam library forever. And so I just finished playing it for the first time, and I must say I really enjoyed it. I'm going to play it, go back and play it again.
Far Cry 4 was good.
Yes. And I finished playing Outer Worlds, and I really enjoyed that as well.
Oh, I haven't finished that one yet.
Yeah,
I really liked Parvati's character. She's really cool.
Yes, she is. And so
so sweet.
I'm going to replay that, and next time I'm going to play as a corporate shill. All hail corporate overlords. So that's my working game next time.
Kevin Harvey says, this is the incoherent appeal again, she sounds like a very pleasant person that anyone would go out of their way to work with. Yeah, that's, again, like that. What we were talking about this, the access to justice issue. How did this happen is what we were talking about when the stream went down.
Yes.
The lawyer is trying desperately to keep the lights on. The lawyer wants to bring clients in. So the lawyer's looking for like really any case that they can take. We call this door law, and we advise you, do not practice door law. You do not take just about anything that walks through the door. You have to carefully evaluate each case. So this lawyer was likely practicing door law, likely took this case expecting it would be an easy win, and along the way realized that they were in over their head, which is sometimes the way lawyers actually practice, is just every case is in over their head, and asked this client to write up their case for them, and then copied and pasted from what the client wrote up.
It feels a little pro se, yes.
It's too pro se.
Yes.
Like they didn't even fix formatting issues. By the way, your Rule 1.1 duty of competency now includes a duty to stay competent with modern technology.
Okay.
Believe it or not, states are starting to read a rule into the Rule 1.1 duty of competency, a duty for the lawyer to be technologically compliant.
I don't know about that. If you want,
I don't mean masterful. I don't mean they're going to write the next Google and search engine or whatever. I just mean that they can use a word processor and not turn in an utterly incomprehensible
I don't
brief.
know. If you're so old school that you're still using Shepard's and paper, then like I don't know, man. You type things up and stuff.
That's so time consuming now.
Yes, it is.
We did that in law school and library once.
Yes,
because
exactly.
it is so time consuming.
Yes,
it took an entire class to find and Shepardize one case.
We did the same thing.
And electronically, I can do that 10 times in 10 minutes.
We actually went and did everything in paper, including Shepardizing it. It takes forever. Yeah, good times.
Tactical's legal argument, like, dude, no, is way more coherent than this brief. I can hear her saying that too. Like, dude, no. Like, no.
I just everything.
I gotta have an accent.
Everything that guy said is yes.
Everything that guy said is bullshit.
Yeah.
And here someone mentions Judge Burl M. Schiller from the Imagos case. TJ Sincrawl says, personally, I prefer to see judges be very patient and helpful towards pro se parties, like we saw with Judge Burl Schiller. I feel like it is a sort of backdoor way judges can improve access to justice for people who cannot afford lawyers. This case was truly a mess, but perhaps a bit of coaching from the judge would have convinced the plaintiff that either to abandon her case or make corrections that would have made at least a valid case. Definitely no excuses for the lawyer. And that was my response before I hit read more and saw the definitely no excuse for the lawyer. That was my response, was going to be like, well, this wasn't from a pro se. This was from a lawyer who's supposed to know better, who's supposed to have spent 3 or 4 plus years training just in law school. So yeah, I don't have any sympathy.
I have a little bit of sympathy.
I mean, I have sympathy for how it happens. I have no sympathy for like that actual brief. I would never.
No.
In 5 minutes, I could clean that brief up to be better than it is.
Yeah.
And then in a day, I could clean it up so that it actually makes sense.
Ooh, promising.
I think I could do it in a day. I mean, a dedicated day, like a full 8-hour day. I get spending 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the afternoon. Michael Carnerfors says, the court said that this writing is so bad it's actually harassment, and it's not just like this is bad and you should feel bad. It's this is bad, you should feel bad, and furthermore, you should feel bad about other people reading your badness. I died, says Michael Carnerfors.
Yeah, the Court of Appeals decision can be roughly read as, we are worse for having read what you wrote. We are personally attacked and diminished by reading it. Yes. Why did you do this to us? Why did we ever do to you?
Romantic Outlaw quotes Gene Wilder from Chocolate
You lose, good day, sir.
Yeah. Yes. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. He is so good in that movie.
Oh, yes.
Like, the actual movie is just a bizarre journey, but Gene Wilder's acting is so good in that. Let's move on to the next story.
And they once tried to make a movie for the sequel. Anyone ever read Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator? Because it is the weirdest stuff.
I think I started.
It is the most bizarre, psychedelic, bizarro story. It's just wow.
Okay, so the next one is the YouTube Terms of Service. This was both the not commercially viable language as well as, I think we mentioned the Markiplier thing in this story as well.
Yes.
Will Tell then, which is the comment that I pinned, says, good news, the ban thing got resolved. YouTube admitted there were problems and are working on it. Yeah, the problem was that there was overzealous spam detection, and they were detecting spam based on the emojis as well.
I will give them a partial pass for the initial detection. I'm less favorable in terms of giving them a pass where all the people appealed and said, we've basically carefully reviewed it and your appeal's denied. It's like, well, that obviously didn't happen. No one carefully reviewed this. So it's like, that's the part that really got to me. It's like the algorithm can make a mistake. I understand. But people are appealing and their entire Google accounts and Gmail. If my Gmail went away, I'd be a very sad panda. And so I was very less sympathetic to the constant appeals being denied.
Listening Characters says, it's almost like Google having all sites businesses they have under their monopoly run on a singular algorithm is a bad thing. It's almost like antitrust enforcement would be good. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's at some point... I often think of, so I don't like on a daily basis dwell on the Ma Bell case, but that got, Ma Bell got broken up.
Yes.
I don't see why Google isn't in a similar situation, or why certain other Amazon, for example, isn't in a similar situation. Like, I'm not saying they are deserving of being broken up. I'm saying, isn't it probably a good idea to investigate at this point and just make sure?
Well, for AWS in particular, for the web services, because it's so dominating.
Exactly. There are some aspects of Amazon and Google, and maybe even a couple others, maybe even Apple, I'm not sure, that just at least deserves some kind of investigation, and maybe some prosecuting authority could tell us why they aren't prosecuting or why they aren't trying.
I just want to comment on Rye Ghoul's comment in chat, said do more videos like that court audio you did. It was entertaining watching Kirk cringe Well, thank you. I enjoyed filming it. It was a very successful video.
We have 2 more in the pipeline, the Sitco case and the Blackbeard case.
Yes. So I look forward to doing more cringy videos because, like, that was fun. And I don't know if I've posted it yet, but I have covered the decision from the Court of Appeals. They've already decided the case. So they were very quick in turning it around. So you can look forward to that video posting very soon if it hasn't already.
Pellbort says, YouTube, we're shutting down your YouTube access as you're not commercially viable. Me a month later, holy shit, I finished writing a play, learning to speak Japanese, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, the joke was, of course, that you're wasting all your time on YouTube. But I just want to make the point once again that the not commercially viable language seems to be tied to, and this was YouTube's official statement, tied to shutting down services that are not commercially viable, not your account when it's not commercially viable. Although, let's be fair, YouTube can and always has been able to shut down your account for any reason, including whether your account is not commercially viable. The fact that they said it here for something else and you thought it was about you is sort of meaningless because it was always about you anyway. Like they could always do that.
Yeah.
So how hard is it to find good audio of courtroom scenes? It depends on the court. Some of the appeals courts and so the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court, they both put their oral argument audio out, but not every other court puts their audio out. Like we found, remember the Reddit case, the DMCA subpoena to Reddit from Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, which is still unresolved. We have an alert out on it, so I know it's still unresolved. There was audio for the first hearing, but there was no audio for the second hearing. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know. I've been enjoying my Friday React series where I react to the Supreme Court because if we get audio from them on Friday, they always post the audio on Friday. So they release the transcript same day, but they don't release the audio to Friday. And so I've been enjoying that where we react to stuff and analyze. But yeah, some of the courts are not very good about that.
Let's see here. Detton30 says, I'm reading it as them closing their own services when they aren't viable. So when Stadia goes belly up, they can remove everybody's access because it's not viable. Yes. And that is exactly why services like Stadia are probably going to fail or at least have trouble starting, because the rest of us already know that Google doesn't keep services like Google Inbox, my favorite email service that Google shut down. They don't keep them alive for very long. So how can I count on Google? Now, of course, I say that as a person who counts on Google every day for providing my emails and web services and everything.
Google, please don't take away my email.
I don't think they're going to do that, but they might take away like an email client again or something like that. All right, let's move on to the next story, the copyright gained in translation story. I know this wasn't necessarily the most interesting story, but I personally found it from a copyright aspect really interesting that you could basically get a brand new copyright on a work just by translating it. Now, that doesn't mean that you're protected against all other translations or anything.
Right.
It just means that your translation can't be copied and used as, some kind of uncopyrighted work. Harry Chris says, I always thought translations were copyrightable. No language is a one-to-one equivalent. There has to be some creative input. You could have different translations of a work copyrighted by different authors with the original still being in the public domain. I read a lot of translated Roman and Greek histories. This is pretty standard. There are multiple translations of original works, as all translations are slightly different.
Yeah, you can look to the Bible for that principle. It's like you go back to the original and you see how many different versions of the Bible there are, for example. So
Civia says, if you ask Harmony Gold, once you have a copyright on a derivative, then that means you own everything remotely similar forever. Rip American Macross. And of course, they're talking about the Battle Tech and Mech Warrior versus, I guess, Macross, which is not Battletech and Mech Warrior.
I don't know.
It's been a year since we talked about it, or more. It's actually been more than a year since we talked about it. I think it's been 2.
Some copyright holders have a tough time playing nice with others. So.
Some people have a tough time playing nice with others. Okay, so Roper's Online says that crime and punishment is pronounced prestuplenyi I nakazanyi. Noted. But the translator surely didn't invent Piotr equals Peter. Yes, that's true. That was a poor analogy on my part. I was more so saying that the translator does actually add something to the translation. But yeah, it's a weird operation of law. The translator, normally we don't protect copyrighted works just because you put in a bunch of effort. But this seems to be one where that sort of applies.
And another example of this principle would be like if you took a photograph of something that was in the public domain. The photograph is still copyrighted, even though the thing that's in the public domain is not. So like each photograph can be copyrighted, but the original isn't. So an example might be, I don't know, taking a picture of the Mona Lisa. Taking
a picture of the girl with the pearl earring.
Yeah.
I don't think the underlying work is copyrighted anymore, but your photograph of it is technically still copyrighted.
Right.
Now let's say that I go online and take your photograph and you had a creative angle and you had a creative lighting, like you like set the camera's shutter and aperture and all that such that you got a nice creative lighting shot. And let's say that I go take that and I just destroy all of that. I crop it so that it's just the girl with the pearl earring. I use the levels tool to eliminate any special lighting effect and all that's left is basically the original girl with the pearl earring, but I got it through your photograph.
Assuming you could prove that, I would still say it's a derivative work.
I would say no. I would say I only now have the unprotected elements left. I have eliminated all of your protected elements, and now I have what's left is an uncopyrighted
Leonard and
work.
I disagree.
Yeah. So let's see. Super Smash Dolls says, what are you talking about with the phone book case in translations is actually extremely common. Writers of works generally expect their readers to have some level of cultural familiarity with things that native speakers of other languages might not. In some cases, changes aren't necessary, but in others, the work might be incomprehensible to the translation's target audience without something more. Explanatory notes, rewording character dialogue, completely changing particular references to cultural equivalents in the target language. I remember I was talking to Kelly the other day, and I forget what word it was, but the word had multiple meanings. One of the meanings was the same between American English and UK English, but the rest of the meanings were all different. So if you tried to translate that word from UK English to American English, it would only work if you meant it in one very specific way. If you meant it in any other way, it had to be completely retranslated.
Interesting.
Like I'm thinking of, this wasn't the example, but think of cigarette.
Yes.
Which is the F word in, and I'm not even going to say the word because of YouTube's demonetization, but that's the F word in UK English, but in American English. So if somebody had used that word and you were trying to translate it for meaning purposes into American English, you would have to change the F word into some slang for cigarette.
Yes.
In American English.
VVAC 201 asks, what are we drinking? Well, I'm so glad you asked. I'm now on number 19, 6-point resin. So from the...
It's his third, he's not on his 19th. These are only 8-ounce beers as well. We are drinking responsibly. Neither of us are driving. We are complying with YouTube's guidelines. I've actually looked this up on purpose.
Yes.
Roper's Online, again, says, well, if you use the same character name as the translator did, you're starting to cross the line, only if the translator creatively changed the name. Yes, this is a very important point. Only if the translation has added something that becomes protected by being minimally creative and is then fixed in a tangible medium of expression.
Yes.
That technical language, man. Holy mackerel.
It's almost like it's a law thing.
Jeez. Point of order, the Garnett translation, which was fallen out of favor only recently, is a 1914 copyright. I don't know what that means. I really want to know Leonard's take on the latest Last Week Tonight. I imagine that you're talking about the slap one, yes. And that was absolutely spectacular. Everything that I would have wanted to do if we had a budget to do that. I cannot believe they performed a live song and dance in Times Square. We still have Nico's squirrel costume, which was purchased for when the appeal finally dropped. But of course, now the appeal is dismissed, so I don't know what to do. We'll dress him up in the squirrel costume and parade him around at some point, and we'll do our own show about it. Legal Eagle just did his own show about it, so how much more do you people really want to see?
Well, I do have some intelligent commentary on this.
Okay.
Although I think slander is out as an idea, I did particularly play with the idea of either negligent infliction of emotional distress or intentional infliction of emotional distress as possible theories, because they did that 10-minute segment at the end that just went on and on in terms of like just beating him over and over. But I think I
don't think that they actually intended Bob Murray to experience actual, what we would call illegally emotional distress, which is not what a layperson would call emotional
I agree.
Distress. What a layperson would call it would be severe emotional distress.
Yes. And they also have legal problems. For negligent infliction, their problem is there doesn't appear to be any physical harm, which is usually a necessary element. For intentional infliction, their problem is Snyder v. Phelps, which is a U.S. Supreme Court dealing with Westboro Baptist Church, which basically held that protected speech can't be intentional infliction. But still, I thought it was an interesting idea. So I hope that was valuable commentary.
Joshua Walker says they are a translator. It looks like it's a he, so I'll call Joshua Walker a he. As a translator, I would want to add a few pennies to the pile. There is a lot of confusion when it comes to translations and copyright. Some think that changing the language is transformative and falls under fair use as false. Some also think that as long as the translated work is not sold, then they are actually doing the original author a favor. Okay, yeah, so you can't just go translate some other author's work. Like, it has to be off of copyright, or you have to have permission. Let's make that clear.
If you translate Harry Potter,
you can't
you're
just
have
release
issues.
your own. Now, J.K. Rowling may be very grateful that you did the translation into Swahili or something, but you're not going to be allowed to release it till you get a license and all that, and everybody agrees to how everybody's getting paid. So that's important. Also, some are thinking that languages map one-on-one to each other. Exactly, we went over that. They don't. Not true. When I translate, not just picking the correct words, but finding the cultural context. So there is some creativity. There's not. I don't mean some as in, again, not the layperson some. I mean like in legal terms. There is more than minimal. It is at least some creativity in the translation, and you have to pick not just the literal translation, but the cultural translation as well. So yes, that's very good. Shall we move on to the next video? The Fallout 76 refunds for Australia. Marcus Soper says, for reference, Leonard, Australians call it the ACCC. I'm actually pretty sure they don't call it that. It's probably something with an Australian accent like ACCC. As we both try our worst Australian
right, Governor?
Crikey!
Boy, I went and got a refund from the ACCC.
Meanwhile, I just spilled my beer all over myself. Good job.
Yes, well, that's a productive day.
Oh, let's just see if
the
camera the camera picks that up. Great job, Leonard.
Well, you have to say it upside down, so that's like, I don't even know how to do that pronunciation.
All right, so Snake Dude for Life says that's not a game. This is a game. Like from Crocodile Dundee. That's Fallout 76. I see. Oh, and then now they've got into the whole Futurama. That's Fallout 76. Oh, I see you've played Gamey Scammy before. Or that could have been from Simpsons. I forget. Knifey Spoony.
Yes,
Knifey Spoony from
yes.
Knifey Spoony from Simpsons.
I see you play this game before.
Gino Merci says, was pleased to see that this ruling was purely justified by consumer protection and not by political vendettas against video games, which seem to be all the rage in Australia. Yeah, this. So a couple of years ago, I was looking at Australia's politics going, damn, I'm really glad we don't have that kind of a politics in America.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Nick Taylor says, as an Australian, I'm proud our government hasn't torn this act to shreds. They've already made their intent clear on being able to protest should be illegal. Yeah, and obviously protesting, criticizing your government. A government for the people should be able to be criticized by the people.
This is why I think the government shouldn't control speech.
The government should not control speech. No.
So
not in any way. Let's move on to the next video. We're an hour into this.
Oh, I'm having a great time.
This is how Levy wants to know about my eye color. Hannah Hallis says, "What the hell this is the South Carolina Forgot About Poor People. A video that did way better in the numbers than I thought it would be. Maybe it was the title and thumbnail.
I'm just disappointed that you did a South Carolina video without calling me first.
Yes, I'm sorry. What the hell happened to the judges who saw these cases appearing before them? Even just a review of their handling of these cases is warranted. Yes, it is. It is a matter of the judge sitting up there and seeing what's happening before them and going, okay, fine, I'll just rule and no one will care. And then it'll be easy, and then I'll be able to go home and do what I want at 4:30.
Judges get burned out too, man.
Judges get burned out too. They're people too. I'm not justifying it. I'm not excusing it. It's not excused. It's not excused. I'm just saying that's what happens. People get burned out, and it's easy when you're in charge, or the judge is in charge. When the judge is in charge of everything and the judge says, okay, fine, we're done, the tip staff goes, okay, fine, we're done, and they go home.
Yeah. Which is always good practice lessons. Don't irritate the judge. Lesson 1.
Well, I mean, if the judge gets irritated that, what was the South Carolina thing? That you want an attorney and you don't get, and your attorney didn't show up or whatever because it's a privately contracted public defender or whatever. Now that was the thing though. It wasn't like they had totally forgotten about the law. It was they were not compliant with the law. They were trying to provide some kind of defender.
Hello, Brandon.
Hi, Brandon and Brandon's vape. Your mic is hot, by the way.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Because you used your Alt key. That's how that happened.
No, it was being held down somehow. I wasn't touching my Alt key at all.
Okay. Jonathan Tabor says South Carolina has a habit of ignoring constitutional rights when it comes to criminals. I doubt most police officers and lawmakers in South Carolina can even read the Constitution. Ooh. Now, are you from South Carolina?
Yes, that's where I grew up.
That's you born?
No, not born.
Okay, just raised in South Carolina. I was born
in Pennsylvania.
Now, yours truly has also spent a significant amount of my childhood in South Carolina. We used to our like yearly vacation, our annual vacation spot was Lake Marion. Yeah. On a houseboat.
There you go.
We rented a houseboat because you can't rent them anymore, but you used to be able to rent them before the insurance company said no more. No more sunk houseboats in Lake Marion. Yeah. If you're not familiar with Lake Marion, because a lot of you would not be, Lake Marion is a man-made reservoir or lake, and it was made back during the beginning of World War II, I believe, and it was made very hastily. And instead of clearing the lake of the forest, they just felled the forest and then tied the logs to the lake bed.
Yes.
Now, what would you tie logs to the lake bed with to ensure longevity?
Well, probably something that won't deteriorate in water would be nice.
So steel?
Steel would be a good thing. I mean, even, something.
No. Steel was actually the bad thing. Steel rusted.
Yeah.
and steel then broke.
Plastic, maybe. I don't
And
know.
so at around about 1980, 1990, all those logs floated to the surface.
Stainless steel. That's right. Yeah. Good shit. Yeah.
And so Lake Marion is Stump City, and so that's why all the houseboats are sunk, because amateurs are renting the houseboats, driving them around, and they're hitting stumps of floating logs. They're hitting like floating logs and stuff, and then so after a number of sunk houseboats,
I lived in South Carolina from age 6 until I went to college there, so really age 22, 23. Wow. So I was there for most of my life. So, I consider myself South Carolinian at heart.
Lavushka says, Miranda, never heard of her. What do you mean it's a guy? Is this some kind of transgender issue?
Yeah. No. Thank you for playing.
Bill M. says officials really need to be criminally charged when they violate civil rights, not just probation, house arrest, or fine. Serious prison time is deserved for violating the rights of the helpless. Even if it was just minor prison time. I mean, even a couple days in prison usually wakes someone the heck up.
If wishing made it so.
If wishing made it so.
Yeah.
If onlys and butts were candies and nuts, then every day would be Ernst Donkfest.
By the way, hi, Sam. How are you doing? Looking forward to talking to you later. But let's carry on.
Oh, hey, Sam. Welcome. Let's see. Of course, you can prosecute or defend 400 cases a year. It's called plea bargains and is why damn near a quarter of the population has a criminal record.
Yeah.
Yep.
The plea bargain rate's like 86%.
Plea bargains are terrible. I mean, I get it, but just like how it happens is just terrible because it's the opposite operation. Imagine that innocent person.
Yeah.
They lose any opportunity to bargain because they're innocent. Like the system should not be set up to punish the innocent the most.
Yeah. And what prosecutors do, as you might expect, is levy so many charges that the rational thing to do from game theory is to settle.
Yeah.
So
you get like 5 or 6 charges against you for the same transaction or occurrence or incident.
It's a problem. I never have had the pleasure of being a criminal defense attorney, but I've thought about, like, if I ever was, like, maybe just having a policy like I'll never plea bargain, see how long that lasts.
Oh, no, you gotta. So plea bargains have to be on the table for the lawyers because you have a fiduciary duty. You have to act in the best interest of your client.
The idea,
sometimes the best interest of your client is to recommend a plea bargain.
I guess the idea there would be, in theory, that I'd have to pawn them off to a different attorney to actually accept the plea bargain. But so
you could do that. I had a boss once who tried to do that by having his secretary open his emails, so he could say that he never opened an email in his life. So he still had an email. So it wasn't really that true.
Okay, boomer.
He was a boomer. Look at that. See? Actually, no, he was probably a greatest generation. Silent generation?
Oh, that's really old. Silent generation.
It's your greatest generation.
It sounds like 1920, 1930, right?
Yeah, he was that old.
Okay, that would be silent generation, yeah.
Just so you know, it's pronounced Beaufort or Beaufort locally.
Okay, yes. This is important.
Okay.
In Beaufort, South Carolina, Beaufort, North Carolina.
Okay.
They're spelled the same but pronounced differently.
Okay.
Like Mueller.
This is also important. Newark, New Jersey.
Yes.
Newark, Delaware.
Yes.
Newark, New Jersey, New Ark of the Covenant, Delaware.
Houston, Texas, Houston, New York.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, that is absolutely right. Soho. What does Soho stand for? South of Houston.
South of Houston, yeah. Our current beer is now number 40, Kings Highway Rosé. It's a beer, though.
Okay, so now we're on the Leibowitz might have lied to a federal judge faces jail. I think this is not the live stream. This is the before the live stream, like way before the live stream, a couple days before the live stream. And we'll start with the top comments. John Gingras says, I imagine that if he'd just said, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I goofed the date and forgot, I'll pay the defendant's attorney's fees and missed hearing, he'd be paying a lot less than he is now. Yes, absolutely. If he had just done one sentence worth of... It just boggles the mind.
Leonard, if only there was some saying involving crow that would be
I am a glass case of emotions.
Yeah. Something crow, something tender, something whatever. Yeah. Yes. It's better to admit fault earlier.
Mind bottling, right? What was that movie? Nope, lost it. Definitely Anchorman. Thank you. Anchorman 1. Actually, I say thank you. No one said anything to me. It's just thank you, my brain. Connor Horman says, let's give Mr. Leibowitz a round of applause.
You know,
he managed to dig himself a hole the size of.
I owe him an apology because I was sure that death certificate did not exist.
You and half of our colleagues.
I was sure.
R/lawyers was half of the people were 100% sure.
So I owe him an apology wherever you are, sir. I was wrong.
Now, you have to understand, Leibowitz is a unique-looking character.
Yes, that too.
He looks a little bit like the original Sonic the Hedgehog in the latest movie. Like, he just looks like the proportions are just, he's got too much hair on his head and like too small of a face.
He either looks like he's going to be in a greaser movie or turn into a werewolf at any moment.
Yeah, exactly. And the hair looks greasy. Like it looks, I don't mean like it looks bad. Like he looked fine in court. It just looks like he's been out tanning or something.
Yeah.
And that his face is too small. I'm not trying to make fun of the guy. Just like it's kind of a show. It really is.
Yeah.
He managed to dig himself a hole the size of his ego. I didn't even think anything could match that size. I agree that he's got to have a bit of an ego to get this far, but I think it's more so that like Dunning-Kruger blind incompetence kind of thing. Like he was a photographer, right? So now he's going to represent photogs in their copyright claims. And he just kind of disregarded how formal and strict the law is.
He just got in over his head.
I mean, I can't say that I've never disregarded a part of the law and had some judge or had some opposing counsel go, no, they actually do want you to follow that rule, or they actually do care about that. Yeah. Or, and I think I was one day late with filing something one time, and the judge was like, oh, sorry, you're wrong, dismissed. You lost your $400 filing fee.
Is photogs the term of art for photographers?
It's one of them. They don't really like it though. Peter Siegel says, well, now I don't want him to go to jail either. If you die laughing, I will miss out on all this quality content. I think I recall reading that comment from last week's comment review. So
that's okay. We can comment on it twice.
Okay.
Because this is so formal as a stream.
Yes. All right, so now here's the pre-hearing live stream. And it goes, Zerzion says, you know you've made a poor business decision when the U.S. Marshals are called on you.
Yeah, that's a moment to get your attention.
Michael Mizaros says, take one large, fully mature crow, open your mouth, there we go.
Yeah.
Natasha Taylor says, it is a beautiful 28 degrees. Oh, that sounds lovely. Fahrenheit. Oh, not so lovely. Siv Osborne says, I am disappointed that Leonard didn't get out of his car and we all find out he is 6'11". No, I'm 6'1", not that tall. Heather Lynn Van Wild says, the captain doesn't fraternize with the crew, and yet here's Leibowitz, the mutineer. Why do these have no comments? Or I don't know. Maybe we'll go on to the next one. Dogs rule in W08. Okay. By the way, I believe it was the Obama administration who put a journalist in jail for not revealing their sources.
Yes.
I believe they are correct.
Yes, that is true.
Yes, it was the Obama administration's Department of Justice that put a journalist in jail under criminal contempt of court to compel the revealing of a source, right?
Right.
Did they ever reveal the source?
I don't know the answer to that question.
I think they did not reveal the source, and I believe that they were released from criminal contempt when it was figured out that they aren't going to reveal the source, because that's the standard for criminal contempt. It's only meant to be compelling, and if there is evidence, or I'm guessing it has to be some burden of proof that you're not going to be able to compel somebody with criminal contempt, then you can't use criminal contempt to compel them. You can't incarcerate them to compel them.
Dan, it wasn't that the executive department found someone in contempt. It was that the court did. The court ordered him to turn it over as part of the procedure of the case. So, they brought a case and the court ordered it, so it was contempt of court.
So that's technically not the Obama administration. It's just during the Obama administration.
Well, yes, to be hyper-technical, yes, but they're the ones that instigated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
It's not like the Obama administration was saying, no, don't do that. Let them out.
Yeah, no.
I cleaned my iron for you guys. Yes, I did. I cleaned my clothes iron for you. I ironed my suit pants.
What's an iron?
I don't know. See, my pant. So here's, I'm an adult. I'm responsible. When I get my freshly pressed and cleaned suit pants back from the cleaners, they pretty much stay clean and pressed until they need to be cleaned and pressed again. I don't often need to press my pants in between cleaning them. So I can't say I've actually used an iron in a decade. So I'm kind of happy that I remembered how without destroying my pants.
Excellent.
Because the previous time I used an iron, I'm pretty sure I melted something.
I believe that was an episode of Frasier, too. Niles tried to iron pants, set on fire. Much comedy ensues.
That does sound like a Seinfeld episode.
Frasier, but yeah.
Somebody's characters say 7 months sounds good. After all, it's been 7 months since he skipped it. 7 months would make it even. 7 months of incarceration. Why? I think that might be a bit much. Why might that be a bit much? Because we have other remedies, right? We have many more remedies to take away his law license, fine him money, etc. that don't involve incarcerating a person. That's a pretty harsh remedy. Then again, he did lie to the judge 10 times.
Yeah. Not a good move. No.
And then did Richard Leibowitz get jailed post-hearing live stream? Forrest Pfeiffer says, definitely, we're sorry we got caught, not we're sorry we got caught. I agree.
It's a little bit hard to come back from the first 8 times you lie to the court and be we just messed up 8 times in a row.
There wasn't anything for his attorney to say other than, yeah, Your Honor, we know this looks bad, but there really wasn't anything other than that. For his attorney was going to discredit himself. His own attorney was going to discredit his own attorney. I love some of the little details, like the security machine ate my belt, but they were able to fish it out and return it fine. The belt is fine. I know everybody was worried. That's the belt and suspense approach. I got to the courtroom and I was like, oh shit, I don't have my belt. I had to go all the way back down to the lobby. It was sitting there. They had fished it out of the machine. And the previous time, my tie clip got lost in the machine too.
Yeah, they don't allow cell phones in my federal court building.
Same thing. They didn't allow my cell phone. They took my driver's license.
They're anal about it.
They took my driver's license and my cell phone and rubber banded them together and said you can have it when you leave.
No, they don't. They don't even do that. They don't keep them. They
kick you out of the building and you have to go put it away.
Yeah, or
They don't even hold it for you.
No. Yeah, it's the Eastern District of Virginia. They have a lot of classified cases.
Oh yes, I remember.
So,
we were in the Eastern District of Virginia last January, and our local council writes us this email, and we get this all caps email subject line, "I'm not kidding, Leonard." And I'm going, oh my God, what has happened? I'm in full blown panic, shaking as I'm opening this email. And he goes, in all caps, "I'm not kidding, Leonard." And then back to regular caps. "Don't bring your cell phone."
Yeah. I once got into a fight with the U.S. Marshals regarding a Pebble smartwatch. Not my sharpest moment, so good times.
Yeah. And then I'll tell my story.
Yeah.
When I went to the federal courthouse for the Imagos thing, Alex Mauer had made threats she had literally like sent an image of a knife through a box of like a person's face on a box of Wheaties, like the knife through that. And so we took that as a threat. She said she wanted to set me on fire, gouge my eyes out, all this stuff. So that had been reported to the police and everything. And I went to the courthouse in a protective vest, in a class 2C vest or whatever. So it would stop handgun bullets and it would stop knife attacks. And apparently I did not know that those things light up a metal detector. And they light up a metal detector like all the way. Like it goes all the way to like its maximum, like we've detected all the metal in the world kind of thing. The security, like the federal marshal security guard guy, like comes through the metal detector at me and is like, "What do you have on you?" And like loudly. And I was like, I'm wearing a vest. Like we're threats in my case. I'll go into the room with you. I'll show you. And he's like, "Okay, you're fine."
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Good times.
I'm like, "I'm sorry. I didn't know those things set off the metal detector."
Yeah.
Zerzion says again, he's very sorry. He keeps getting caught.
Yeah.
Doug wants him to go to jail. Vamp Faye says, when Leonard says someone tried to influence the judge, I said OMFG.
And
this
people,
was surprising.
People blamed me. Did you see the live chat?
I want to know who it was, but the judge won't reveal it.
They were convinced it was me. If you look back at the live chat when it was happening, they're
funny.
like, "What did you do, Kurt? This is totally Kurt."
That's fucking funny.
It's like, yeah. So it's like, yeah. It's like,
sorry.
yeah.
So wait. This was Bell. No, which was this? This was Imagina.
Yeah.
Burger versus Imagina Consulting. We'll just check it again. Yeah, the letter is on, but the letter from his attorney is on the docket, but the secret like influenced letter is not. So,
no, really? It's not on the record?
It's not on the record yet.
Oh, that's very sad.
So we'll cover that when we get it.
I want to read the secret influence letter. I could just give it to you because I wrote it.
Spikes, does he have to pay for missing that day in court for the other defendants' fees? I think so.
Probably.
I think that was long ago. Like, I think that order was like a really long time ago.
Yeah.
This order was for the $100 a day and $500 a day. That was just a fine. Like, that went to the court.
Oh, yeah.
That didn't go. The $3,700 went to the court. And I don't think it gets to go to anybody else. Mike Chambers says, sorry, I have zero sympathy for Richard Leibowitz, and I'm disappointed the judge has dealt with this pattern of blatant deception so leniently.
He's going to get thumped on the skull a little bit.
Yeah, the long arm of the law is slow.
Yeah.
This will get back to him. And he is on basically borrowed, that's not borrowed time right now, but he's on, like, he sees the bell has tolled. He sees that they're coming for him. And it's just a matter of time before the disciplinary committee investigates, and he probably agrees to discipline.
Oh, I would.
I mean, I would, but he's done this too. So
it's like I beg for
a
public reprimand at this point and hope for the best. It's like, that's what I think is probably the outcome of this, is a public reprimand from the Bar Association, which is like still a pretty big deal because it's on your record available to clients. So it's like, it'll get your attention. I'll tell you what, I don't want one. Yeah.
Ruben asks, will the secret influencer be held in contempt of court or something? No, I don't think, not all by itself. If it was a repeatedly occurring event, or if there was reason to believe that the influencer was like an attorney, or even worse, an attorney admitted to that court system, then yeah, we're probably following up with it. But the judge is more like pissed off that it happened in the first place, and then just gonna like just throw it out.
It's probably not the first time, to be honest. You know,
it happens a lot.
Oh no, where people write in to judges and like, it's just something.
What was the judge in one of the hacking cases that got doxxed?
I don't know.
We read her. She was the H3H3 judge, I thought.
She got doxxed?
Yeah, she got, but not in the H3H3 case. She got doxxed in the hacking, in a separate hacking case or something.
Judge Catherine Forrest.
There you go. See? Did you look it up, or did you remember that?
I remembered it.
I'm impressed.
I'm playing Pokemon. I don't have time to look stuff up.
All right. Andreas Ghoulstrand says it's a no-noople.
Yes, non-noople, I think.
Non-noople.
Non-noople?
Explain. Sorry.
For 9, for when they were asking 9 times.
Oh, right.
Non-noople.
Right. The judge said the same thing. The judge was like octuple.
Non.
Yeah. Non-nuple. Okay. Non-nuple. Got it. Okay. Today we all learned.
And that would be dectuple for 10.
Dectuple. Okay. That makes sense. And I don't remember what 11 is.
I think it's undetectal. If it's U and I.
Yeah.
Undectuple.
Oh, wow. Unidectuple.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Sean C says, what a disappointment. As long as the system is soft on white collar criminals, they will continue to crime. I agree with the sentiment, but I swear to you, cross my heart. You want to cross your heart too?
Sure.
Leibowitz will be getting punished in some way by his disciplinary board.
Oh, no, they're going to thump him a little bit.
Something. It'll probably be only a public reprimand, the equivalent of a smack on the back of the hand.
It's a smack that would get my attention, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're going to have to report it to everybody. You're going to have to explain it to everybody for the rest of your law career. Right? This isn't something that expires.
No, not really. Yeah.
So, in other words, says Crimson Halo, dude was on the Saul Goodman career path, and this judge was generously trying to stage an intervention. Yes.
A little bit.
And actually, I think it was a very well meted out intervention. I do agree that it falls short of being satisfactory or fulfilling at this time. But I swear to you, it will be satisfactory later. The Hurricane says, not supposed to use cell phones while mourning. Did he make up his own religion? No, if you're sitting Shiva, you shouldn't be using your cell phone. But of course, we think that he was actually... His microphone stand just like went limp.
Oh, it did. Yeah, I was doing that to Kaylee when she was with you for 2 months.
I'm gonna get a new microphone stand. I swear this is the cheapest, shittiest Radio Shack microphone stand. Nobody here, please. Nobody ever buy anything from Radio Shack ever again. Okay?
I think they're pretty safe on that one. Yes.
Hunger the Let's Play says Leonard really went the extra mile, and that was just getting in and out of the parking garage. Yeah. I had trouble with that parking garage.
Yes.
We did fine. I only paid $3 for an entire parking garage experience.
Excellent.
I mean,
experience. You got experience.
And then that's the end of our comment review.
That's very sad.
We've managed to make 90 minutes out of comment review, though.
Well, I had a lot of fun. I'm having a great time. I want more.
You want more comment review?
Well, we could
wait till like next week then.
Oh, actually, we got an email from an attorney after that stream.
Yeah.
That had some advice for us about the Southern District of New York.
Oh yeah.
One of the things that he said was next time park at the library because it's free and it's closer.
Okay.
There's a library like super close to the courthouse.
Sounds good. The municipal parking lot, or the public municipal parking lot, was actually really close too. But yeah, might have been even closer.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun with this stream. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Yeah. I'm Leonard French. This is Kurt Mueller. We're both attorneys. He's a patent attorney. I'm your favorite copyright attorney. And this is Lawful Masses, your favorite law, news, legal education channel on the internet, on YouTube.
Yes.
I fully admit that Legal Eagle is giving us a run for our money, but he is just so much higher budget than we are. So, good job, Devin.
Yeah, well, he has his bias issues, but that's okay. At least I admit my bias issues.
Yeah, so he's on my side of the bias issues.
Yes, that's true. But that's why I like you so much, because you're a nice counterpoint to me.
So thank you all for coming. I appreciate you all. I appreciate your... So no review of comment review 4. Actually, can I pull up comment review 4? I guess I can. Hang on. Comment review, that's fuss. Comment review 5. Comment review 4. Yes. Here, we've got like a second to do comment review 5 or comment review 4. Jan Gunter says, on the topic of piracy due to unavailability outside the U.S., here in Germany, it is very common to pirate because of unbearably bad dubbing, etc. Yes, access to the copyrighted works is one of the primary causes of piracy, I believe. Either high cost prevents access or, other things prevent access. Jan Verschuren says, who drinks water? I do. Plain, active, charcoal, filtered tap water because it's cheap, etc. Great.
This is mostly water.
Yes, beer is mostly water.
Yes, it's only like 7-8% alcohol.
Mathematics student says, I gave this video its 99th like and immediately thought 99 likes on this video's wall, 99 likes on its wall.
For the record, I have sung that song to completion.
Nice.
Yes.
Someone wants to hear me do a spoken word of Zap Brannigan's Leela. I will do it next time.
Excellent.
Sounds good.
Yes.
All right, cool. Thank you, Q Squared, for the $2. Leibowitz, copyright ambulance chaser. Yeah, in a sense, that's what he's doing.
As a matter of opinion, sure, why not?
So thank you for joining me, everyone. I am Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney. We will see you tomorrow morning for another Kurt Mueller, Leonard French show, our normal Lawful Masses Sunday live stream, 10 a.m. twitch.tv
Oh, Lord, I have to get up tomorrow.
Masses. Okay. Yes, you have to get up. Plus, we have to put your bed.
Does Kurt have a channel? Yes, he does, under the name Uncivil Law.
Uncivil Law.
Yes, so please go to Uncivil Law in YouTube and subscribe to my channel. I post stuff every day around 3 o'clock. And yeah.
We just try to post everything. I just try to post things every day. Like sometimes I'm late, sometimes I'm early. We try to be consistent, but sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. So thank you to our supporters. This is a supporter community-supported channel, community-supported legal education channel. I've totally forgotten my outro. Thank you to the $50 plus supporters in the month of November on patreon.com/ljfrench and sponsus.com/law. Thank you to Joe Tyson, Aspernari, John Steele, Gavin Barnard, Eevi, Kyle Mudrak, Michael Pearce, Spirit Bear, Jan Negrey, Daniel Perez, SnorreW, Blackleaf, that guy right over there, Benjamin Hitov, and Steven. You are our $50 plus supporters in the month of November. And thank you to the $5 plus supporters who are scrolling on the LED panel back there behind me and won't be on this video, but are on all the edited videos on the crawl.
And we do, of course, appreciate all your support. It makes a huge difference to this channel to help us grow. And we really appreciate all you subbing and subscribing. Appreciate your love and support.
Oh, yeah, seriously.
Oh, and there's Rob Adler. Welcome, Rob. Thank you for coming to your own comment review. There you go. So that's it for tonight. We're going to go do something else, play some video games and drink some more beer.
Excellent.
You actually finished that? No, you have one left.
I have one left.
1.5 beers left.
I'm only on number 5. It's fine.
So anyway, talk to you guys later. See you tomorrow morning and have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
Good.
Love y'all.